every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Sarah Ayuku. Here are top stories for tonight. Now the news in full. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared his support for the policies of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, particularly the one he believes will enhance the well-being of Rivers State people. Speaking at the Government House, Port Harcourt, Wike says his primary focus is to work for the good of the people of Rivers State. He stated that he will not use his office for unnecessary politicking, pointing out that good policy transcends party affiliation. The embattled Senate President Bukola Saraki is querying the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, to exculpate the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, from prosecution following his alleged complicity in a 10 million naira bribery scandal. Saraki would dismiss the purported clearance issued to the CCC chairman by the AFCC opines that only the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice has powers to shield an accused person from criminal prosecution. Speaking through his lawyer, Ajibola Oluyede, Saraki says the clearance the EFCC issued to Umar could not override the recommendation of the immediate past Attorney General of the Federation made in 2014 for his prosecution. The Senate President added that the Clean Bill of Health the anti-graft agency gave the CCC chairman recently confirms its position that the tribunal under Umar will not ensure fairness in his ongoing trial. And still on the CCC trial, the Court of Appeal in Abuja is striking out an application filed by the Senate President Bukola Saraki seeking to stop his trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal pending the determination of his appeal. A three-man panel of justices led by Justice Abdul Aboki struck out the application after Saraki's lawyer applied for withdrawal of the application. Saraki is facing a 13-count charge bordering on alleged false asset declaration brought against him by the federal government. Our judiciary correspondent Basilo Kafo has more.
President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, is asking the Court of Appeal to declare that CCT lacks jurisdiction to entertain suit against him. Saraki's bid to stop his trial at the tribunal has suffered setbacks. Even the Supreme Court had, in a judgment, affirmed the jurisdiction of the tribunal to hear the case against the Senate President. But Saraki's lawyers say there are no facts that convince them that the tribunal lacks jurisdiction to entertain the suit against their client. Having withdrawn the application for a stay of proceedings, the appellate court is yet to fix a date to hear Saraki's substantive appeal.
Well, we appealed against the ruling of the tribunal on the issue of jurisdiction. Our contention has always been that the tribunal has no jurisdiction to entertain this charge. The issues of jurisdiction which we raised were different from those which were resolved before. And of course, the tribunal ruled against us, and we're here.
The application is, they know that it's illegal and it cannot be sought. And the success of it, they know that the natural consequence of such an application. That's why it was withdrawn. So it's a good thing for them to do.
Meanwhile, former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki is also approaching the Court of Appeal to challenge the rulings delivered against him by the Federal and FCT High Court in Abuja. The two different courts had in their rulings refused to order the Department of State Service to release Dasuki, who is currently in its custody. Spokesman of People's Democratic Party, Olisa Metu, has also been having his day in the court. Metu, through his lawyers, is equally appealing against the Federal High Court ruling, which dismissed his no-case submission. Hearing on Metu's substantive appeal has been fixed for May 5th. Basil Okafor, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The FCC have discovered that about 4 billion naira was channeled through the account which former Finance Minister Nenadi Usman operated for campaign funds purposes. The account is titled Joint Trust Dimension Nigeria Limited. A substantial part of the funds was disbursed to People's Democratic Party chieftains ahead of last year's general election. Usman, who has been detained since last Thursday, is being interrogated by operatives of the anti-graft agency here in Lagos. And in Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari is expressing support for President Muhammadu Buhari's position on the contents of the 2016 appropriation bill before signing it into law. Masari reiterated this while briefing journalists alongside former President of the Senate Ken Nnamani at the State House after their closed-door meeting with the President. Our correspondent tells us more.
The controversy surrounding the passage of the 2016 appropriation bill has continued to linger without any hope of ending soon. Most Nigerians believe non-signing of the budget is slowing the pace of economic activities. Briefing State House correspondent alongside former President of the Senate, Ken Nnamani, Katsina State Governor, says President Buhari is in line for insisting on seeing the content of the budget before appending his signature.
You know, I am now an executive and I signed budget for Katsina State. And before I did that, I made sure that I know what I am signing for. So take it like I said.
As Nigerians seek to unravel the mystery behind the challenges facing the 2016 physical document, the ex-Senate President says collaboration between the executive and the legislature is key to end the budget impasse.
The situation is such that the National Assembly has to do what is called introspection. How do we get to where we are now? The year is running out almost, and we're still talking about 2016 budget. Where is the fault from? Wherever it's coming from, both the executive branch and the legislature must find a quick solution to it. It does no person good to drag any longer.
Almost a year into the life of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration, hope of having a workable document for the economy is yet to materialize. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Ajimobi reporting for CoreTV News.
Experts are calling on the government and its officials to embrace the use of the Freedom of Information Act, which seeks to help the public know about the plans of the government. The FOI Act, which was passed into law, aims at ensuring transparency and accountability in government. Victoria Solomon has more.
Nigeria's Freedom of Information Bill was passed into law on May the 28th, 2011, after the longest legislative debate in Nigerian history. The law was passed to enable the public to access certain government information in order to ensure transparency and accountability. Although intended to be a boost for journalism in Africa's most populous country, little impact has been felt.
The Freedom of Information Act is not there to be used against government. Rather, it is there to be used to enhance good governance, in the sense that if credible information is available to members of the public, they would more likely trust government and tend to give government some benefit of doubt.
People still do not know how to assess this act and how to use it to assess information. That is where the major problem is, and I think people need to be educated on their right as to information.
The FOI Act is not to expose the government or threaten governance, but to create a robust, engaging society.
We need to correct the wrong impression that FOI is there to maybe want to expose the government or to embarrass the government. Is beyond that. FOI is there to assist the society to grow and develop.
With the FOI Act, the public is exposed to the truth, as only correct information can form the basis for sound journalism and ensure the confidence of the people.
Nigerians have been reassured of the commitment of the All Progressive Congress-led federal government to bring the promised change and impact the lives of citizens for the better. Speaking at a town hall meeting organized by the Federal Ministry of Information in partnership with the Bank of Industry today, members of the Federal Executive Council gave account of the challenges being faced in different sectors, while also enumerating government's efforts at overcoming them. Victoria Solomon again files in this report.
About a year after the All Progressives Congress came into power, the Federal Ministry of Information sees the need to engage Nigerians on development challenges as well as plans to bring about the dividends of democracy, especially in the face of recent issues faced by citizens. At a town hall meeting which forms part of activities to commemorate the first anniversary of the present administration, no less than 6 ministers gave account of their stewardship since assumption of office.
This administration has striven to ensure that there is no communication gap between the government and the government. We have done this through several platforms, including meeting with many stakeholders. My colleagues, honorable ministers, have also featured on various media platforms as part of efforts to explain government policies to the citizens.
As the power issue simply in one word, there is not enough power. 5,000 megawatts for 170 million people on is just not enough. The solution is delivering more power on an incremental and sustained basis. There is a plan to deal with the root challenge. Unfortunately, as I speak, there is no budget. And those of us who are accustomed and attuned to public service will understand that budget is the article of faith. Without appropriation, you can't spend more.
The role of the Federal Ministry of Infrastructure and Investment is an enabling. Some of you may have heard us say that if you wanted to aptly describe what we are, we call the Ministry of Enabling Environment for Industry, for Trade, and for Investment. Now, to create an enabling environment, there are a number of things we need to do. Those things are very important. They range from, things that building the basic infrastructure that people need to operate.
We were able to turn the tide of battle against Boko Haram, eliminated them from the territory they control, and it now resorted to the classic, terrorist approach, which the whole world is backing with, not only Nigeria, as you know from the media.
Agreements with the Chinese government that will have funding of 15%. We did not fulfill this agreement. The only place we tied it was the Kaduna Abuja, which is yet to be completed, and we're working extremely hard to ensure that between June and July, we will commercialize that regular item to start service. First thing that we did, what we got was cancel most of those contracts and put the show to transparency. The second thing we did was beginning to understand just like all of my colleagues said, that at the end of the day, the Nigerian right to know is a right in the Constitution. It's not a gift. And we began to publish monthly reports of the transactions in the entities. And we have continued to do so today.
The Lagos Town Hall meeting is the first of the series. Other geopolitical zones will hold a similar gathering not too many days from now.
In other news, authorities of the Nigerian Peace Corps have been refuting allegations that it has been collecting the sum of 40,000 naira to offer jobs to prospective job seekers. National Commandant of the Corps, Dixon Accord, denied these claims during a media parley in Abuja. It says, being a non-profit organization, the alleged amount is to provide kits for prospective members. The level of poverty in the country has been raising many questions waiting for answers as most Nigerians groan on the state of the economy. On our flagship program called Digest, analysts examine the level of poverty in the country, tasking the present administration to work at in ensuring a total reduction in the poverty level of Nigerians. Our correspondent has more.
With the present economic situation ravaging the country, Nigeria, on our flagship program called Digest, analysts on the show x-ray the poverty alleviation policy of the President of Nigeria.
When you look at what it takes to live a decent life, we have actually in this part of the world not applied to the school of national development. We are just comedians in the race towards national development. We have actually not begun the race at all. The problem of alleviating poverty is a structural one, and until we sit down to address the structures that needs to be in place.
Do you know that in Nigeria our major problem today is food? People cannot even have 3 square meals a day. You're talking about $1 per day. People are living below $1. You're talking about $1. $1 is how much? People are living below $1 per day. And government comes up with all these policies as if they are not seeing the realities on ground. And what annoys me is that they are part of Nigeria. And they know some of these things. And that's why I say this wickedness.
However, Nigerians have been the recipients of this poverty challenge ravaging the country since independence, as many programs initiated from the era of Operations Feed the Nation, Green Revolution Program, National Poverty Eradication Program, to mention but a few, all have proven abortive.
The issue of poverty alleviation and all the rest of them, they are structural issues that we must go back to the drawing board, look at some of the ways we are doing things and businesses in this Nigeria, and come to the conclusion that we can't keep on following this path and think we will develop. It's not possible.
A group of people, few individuals or 1 or 2 persons comes out and feel that he knows it all. That is exactly what you see. And that is where we're getting the results we're getting now. Because at the end of the day, when you look at certain things, you see that it is not about you. It is about your capacity and God. Because even if God did not allow that capacity, you cannot function.
Callers also bear their minds on the topic.
I want to just submit that our leaders are not being sincere. I'm actually a youth, and there's nothing they're actually doing to help the youth. The poverty alleviation program, which should be there to help the youth, they're actually politicizing it. Like somebody said something about Keke Napa. In my state, for instance, maybe it is 7:38. There won't be any means of transport in Abia State. And it's really bad. And those periods are dangerous periods.
At this time of this Buhari regime, Nigerians have really tried and patient enough. I think this is the only government so far that with the issue of the fuel scarcity in the country, worker has not even think or make the plans to go on strike.
It is the expectations of Nigerians that the present administration will take a giant step in reducing the poverty level in Nigeria.
The General Officer commanding Nigeria Army 1 Division in Kaduna State, Major General Adeni Oyebade, says the Nigeria Army's decision to conduct cordon and search operations in key strongholds of the Islamic movement on December 12 in Zaria prevented the outbreak of widespread violence in the area. The GOC 1 Division states this while giving its testimony at the public hearing of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up to look into the clashes between the Army and members of the group. We'll bring you more stories after this break, to stay with us.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Here's a recap of our top stories. For more of our top stories, you can check our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us at our Twitter handle, @CoreTV News NG. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, _ news. More than 10,000 internally displaced persons located in 7 IDP camps in the Damaturu, Yobe State have broken out of camps and returned to their villages under police protection. This is coming on the heels of the National Emergency Management Agency declaration that 1,934,765 displaced persons are currently living in formal camps, host communities, and satellite camps in liberated communities as a result of the insurgency in northeastern states of Borno, Yobe, Taraba, Gombe, Bauchi, and Adamawa states. The displaced persons broke out of the camps en masse following the opening of the Damaturu-Buni-Yadu-Biyu Road by the Chief of Army Staff to Kabirtai. The Damaturu-Buni-Yadu-Biyu Road has been short for the last 4 years as a result of the marauding activities of Boko Haram terrorists. Meanwhile, some of the communities the IDPs returned to with police protection include Buni-Yadi, Giniri, Buni-Gari, and Gulani, among others. Roadside petrol vendors in Kaduna State have defied a directive of Governor Nasir El-Rufai, which banned the sale of petroleum products in jerrycans across the 23 local government areas of the state. The ban, which saw many illegal petrol vendors off the street, now the trade still booms after a few days of compliance. Our correspondent who moved around Kaduna metropolis observed that the sale of petrol products in jerrycans still exists. The increasing scarcity of petrol product had compelled motorists to still patronize the roadside petrol vendors. The decision to ban fuel sale in jerrycans was based on legal and security considerations. Many around the state, including motorists, motorcyclists, and users of generators, see the decision as too drastic. They see roadside fuel sale as a succor to people who cannot queue for days in filling stations to buy fuel. Some motorists, when interviewed, say the ban on roadside sale of fuel may lead to a bigger problem if not handled carefully.
The ban on black market came in as a shocker on both sides, both the marketers and both the consumers, because they were helping both sides and it was going on like that. But by that ban, you dealt with them because it turned out to be their source of living.
Now, when the ban was enforced, a gallon of petrol was selling for 2,500 naira, which has never happened in Kaduna, as I know. Then, after 2 weeks of the ban, now getting to 3 weeks, these fuel black marketers are back on the street. Where are these black marketers getting their fuel? Who is selling fuel to them? That is what we expected government to investigate.
Many of the young men doing the business are not skilled in other jobs. Neither are they employable, but these traders place food on their tables over the years, which has taken them away from crime and other social vices. The roadside petrol vendors described the ban as inhuman, calling on Governor Nasir El-Rufai to reverse his decision as they have no other job to do.
I know happy about the thing where this governor put, he say make we no come out again. But the time where he's told that we sell fuel 2,000 naira, but now we sell fuel 1,000 now. Even 900 mark they sell.
If say we go sit down for house, nobody go give us anything. Then we no one carry person something. That is why we come out, we say, we must sell fuel. Soldier or police, he go carry am, put am for inside motor, he go sell the fuel.
We decided as a youth that want the country to progress, because we would not like to see a person pushing his car, motorcycle, and that's why we hang around selling fuel. Due to that, government is against what we are doing. So they have no other alternatives to support us. This is the only way we can support ourselves. We'll be able to get something to eat.
A Kaduna State-based public affairs analyst Ali Dogo says the ban is a welcome development because if the jerrycan sellers are banned from selling fuel, the filling stations will be left with no option than to sell to motorists and motorcyclists, among other users.
You go and take flammable product and you sell it with exorbitant price. You call it lack of job. There are many jobs. It's just laziness. Greed. Greed. You want to be like Mr. A. Why can't you start life moderately? No. Look, this boy is selling fuel. It's bad. It's an inflammable material. Anything can happen.
Also, some Kaduna residents have applauded the ban, saying it will go a long way to make the products available to buyers at filling stations and not roadside petrol vendors known as black marketers. And in Bayelsa State, the Department of Petroleum Resources, the DPR, have sanctioned 16 filling stations for engaging in various sharp practices. Asuko Anti-Operations Controller of the DPR in Bayelsa says the marketers were sanctioned for overpricing, under-dispensing and product diversion and have been made to pay huge fines into government coffers, as well as sign undertakings not to indulge in the practices again. Asuko further states that the DPR will be popularizing all allocated petroleum products from government sources, such as pipelines and products marketing company, in a bid to track productivity of the establishment. The Department of State Service in Kwara State has paraded 5 suspected certificate fraudsters in Ilori. The suspects are Moshood Abdulafiz, Sikiru Rafiu, Aliyu Abdul Fatai, Muslimat Abdul Majid, and one Adebimpe. Parading the suspects at the state headquarters of DSS in Ilori, the state director of DSS, Abdullahi Shinkafi, noted that many fraudulent persons in the state had patronized the fraudsters to get unmerited certificates with a view to securing employment in government agencies and institutions. The director explains that the finding was not unconnected with the discovery that some employees were in possession of fake academic documents during the ongoing verification of workers and pensioners in the state. Shinkafi urges members of the public to be vigilant and report any suspected certificate, document and cybercrime fraudsters defrauding innocent Nigerians and institutions of security agencies in the state. And in Oyo State, the Governor Abiola Ajimobi is promising to hand over mission schools to owners who not only have genuine proposals for the development of such schools, but also proven commitment to education advancement. Ajimobi says this is in response to a request by the prelate of the church for the return of mission schools to their original owners for proper administration. The governor stresses that any religious body or organization without a questionable intention will be allowed to run such schools inasmuch as they meet the requirements that might be set by the federal government. Rail transportation has been recognized as a veritable instrument to drive Nigeria's development. This much has been stated at a one-day public hearing on the Nigerian Railway Corporation Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2015. Opening the hearing, President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, says the bill is one of the high priority bills before the National Assembly, as the railway system is of paramount importance to the nation's economy. And in Ekiti State, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Kola Oluwawole, has condoled with the members of the Nigerian Medical Association, Ado Ekiti branch, over the death of 6 of its members in an auto crash. Oluwawole also extended his condolences to the people and government of Ekiti State. He described the death of the 6 medical doctors as a grievous wound, not only for Ekiti but the entire nation and the health sector. Today marks World Malaria Day. The federal government says it would not relent in efforts aimed at eradicating malaria in the country, especially among children under 5 years of age and also pregnant women. Honorable Minister for Health Isaac Adewale, speaking through a representative, says Nigeria needs to bring malaria to an end for good, as malaria is the cause of 97% death in Nigeria. Bukola Afeni tells us more.
It's another year and time to take stock of achievements in the fight against malaria. At this year's World Malaria Day, government is disclosing that if majority of Nigerians decide to live in clean and healthy environments, malaria will be a thing of the past in the country. The minister is urging Nigeria to always go for tests and treatment of malaria on time.
Malaria has been one of the major killers of maternal and major contributor of maternal and infant mortality in this country. And of course, if we are able to eliminate malaria, the likelihood that our maternal and infant indices will improve.
Speaking on the need for mothers to ensure the usage of long-lasting insecticide nets, which is being made available at subsidized rates, co-chairman of the World Malaria Day says Nigeria can eliminate malaria totally if adequate preventive measures are taken to eliminate the parasite.
A lot of efforts on the government of Nigeria through the Federal Ministry of Health and National Malaria Eradication Program is working assiduously to promote access to ACTs, artemisinin combination therapies that is used in treating malaria, and then make provision for testing and provision for insecticide-treated nets, as well as promote environmental cleanliness, those attitudes, habits, cultures that breed mosquitoes that cause malaria.
As part of activities lined up for the day, sensitization and mobilization are being done in communities in the FCT to enlighten residents on how to prevent malaria attack.
Recently, we supported the countdown to World Malaria Day, where we sensitized communities in Mpapi. We distributed, we did a lot of testing and treatment for people who had malaria, and we also did a lot of sensitization to the entire public community in Mpapi.
The World Malaria Day is done annually for sensitizing and creating awareness on the means of eradicating malaria totally from the world. Bukola Afeni, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And still on health matters, this year's African Vaccination Week will focus on states in the southern parts of the country and also people in internally displaced camps. This is according to the primary health care agencies, says that vaccine-preventable diseases are usually common in children and adults, especially children between 0 to 5 years of age. These diseases can be prevented through immunization. Bukola Afeni tells us more.
And also our partners for the support we receive.
Executive Secretary of the agency disclosed that the theme of this year's African Vaccination Week is Close the Immunity Gap, Stay Polio-Free, emphasizes the importance of immunization. Through immunization, he says, the child is able to successfully fight off millions of viruses that causes disease.
The theme of this year's African Vaccination Week is Close the Immunization Gap, Stay Polio-Free. This is very up for us in Nigeria as we strive to maintain our zero-case status, focusing on the vulnerable population with low immunization coverage.
The World Health Organization Country Director is urging religious and traditional leaders to show more commitment towards vaccination exercise in their domain, adding that the World Health Organization will work with the Nigerian government to provide vaccines in border outposts in countries such as Cameroon, Chad, and Niger Republic.
Today, it's 21 months without any polio that has been diagnosed and registered in Nigeria. While celebrating the progress that has been achieved in the polio front, we also have to be mindful that Nigeria is not out of the woods and it needs to stay at least 1.5 years more without any recorded wild poliovirus before the country is certified polio-free.
To keep Nigeria polio-free is a task we must work together to achieve, and immunization is free. So all parents should be able to avail themselves the opportunity of preventing these diseases.
We must stay vigilant in the fight against polio and sustain this polio-free status until the end of 2017.
Polio is an infectious disease caused by a virus which mainly affect children under 5 years. The African Vaccination Week is a regional initiative coordinated by World Health Organization in 46 countries. The initiative provides a unique opportunity for countries and partners to strengthen national immunization system through advocacy. Bukola Afeni, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The discrimination of individuals with different skin colors has become alarming, as the Albino Foundation is again advocating for skin treatment due to the risk of cancer. Jake Ekpele, president of the Albino Foundation, says persons living with condition are facing diverse challenges, especially with their skin as the weather gets hotter.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Albino Foundation has been again highlighting the basic challenges affecting albinos, saying that the major challenge is the 200,000 sunscreen that will expire less than 6 months from now, and the recent skin cancer that has chopped off some of the albinos' ears.
The challenges are in fivefold. One is awareness, proper awareness and advocacy of what we're doing. Second is skin cancer and visual impairment. Third is education. Many of the albinos are not educated. Fourthly is lack of policy and institutional framework to drive and mainstream our projects into government projects and program. And finally is poverty, lack of economic empowerment.
CEO, Enigma Art Collective, who deals basically on social activism, in a press briefing says they are willing to support the Albino Foundation through its exhibition called Colorism, which looks at lives of a person with albinism in a society living without skin pigmentation.
The Albino Foundation and two other hotels. It's not a money-making venture. It is social activity. We're trying to espouse an interest in people who are otherwise unseen or unheard, and we're trying to give them a voice, and that's basically what Enigma Arts Collective is all about.
Another member of the organization also says with her talent as a painter, she intends to create an emotional and ethereal experience through social commentary to impact the society on the need to support the albinos.
I think the way that our exhibition and the works are going to really impact people and let them go away with learning something, I think that's one of the key aspects of our projects. We want people to take information away, either by the way a painting touches them, either by the documentary they might learn something, either by the words, the literature we use. All of it will create a holistic experience.
The Albino Foundation is asserting that there is a skin trust fund and is appealing to the federal government to instate the free treatment of skin cancer by persuading the National Hospital to go on with the treatment and avoid the risk of losing minimum of 2 to 3 albinos every month.
Trying to see what we can do so that the free skin cancer treatment will continue. So we are using this opportunity to inform you that we have a skin cancer trust fund, and both individuals and corporate organizations can actually pay money, no matter how small, into that trust fund. Now, pointedly, the greatest problem in our hand is the skin sunscreen that is in Lagos. We have over 200,000 tubes of sunscreen that is in Lagos that will expire in less than 6 months.
With this much contribution from partners of the foundation, so much is expected to come ahead of the 10th anniversary of the Albino Foundation in May.
Stories from outside Nigeria in a moment. Do stay with us.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And on the foreign scene, at least 15 people have been killed and 50 others injured in a car bombing at an army checkpoint in a suburb of the Syrian capital, Damascus. The explosion struck the town of Al-Diabiyah, which serves as one of the gateways for the many foreign pilgrims who visit Sayyada Zainab Shrine, a Shia holy site located south of Damascus. Although no one has claimed responsibility for the attack, several ISIL bombings near the shrine left at least 134 people dead, most of them civilians. U.S. President Barack Obama says he is to send up to 250 more special forces troops to Syria to support local militias in the fight against the so-called Islamic State. The new development will bring to 300 the number of U.S. Special Forces soldiers in Syria. Speaking in Andover, Germany, Obama says the troops will not lead the fight but will provide training. President Obama is also discussing Syria and other foreign policy issues with leaders of the UK, Germany, France and Italy. Speaking alongside Obama, German Chancellor Angela Merkel urges warring parties to set up safe zones in Syria where refugees would be protected within the country. And in United States, Ted Cruz and John Kasich, Donald Trump's two rivals for the Republican Party's presidential nomination, have announced that they will now coordinate strategies against Trump. On the other hand, Donald Trump has described the pact formed by his two rivals' crown as a desperate act. Under their plan, Cruz and Kasich will give each other a free run in the state primary vote next month. Meanwhile, Donald Trump currently has 845 delegates, Cruz has 559 and Kasich 148. The city of Cleveland in the United States has agreed to pay $6 million to the family of 12-year-old black boy Tamir Rice, who was shot and killed by a white police officer in 2014. He was playing with a pellet gun outside a recreation center when he was shot twice. According to the terms of the settlement, the city acknowledges no fault in Tamir's death. Officer Timothy Lohman, a trainee, shot Tamir moments after receiving a distress call. The police later reported that the boy was pulling out what was later found to be a toy gun when he was shot. And in sports,
our style, and that's what he delivered.
Juventus have been confirmed Serie A champions for a fifth season in a row after Napoli's 1-0 defeat earlier at Roma. Victory at Fiorentina put Juve on the brink of glory, and Napoli's failure to win means Juve now leads with 12 points with just 3 games left to play. It completes a stunning rise for the turning side, who were in 12th place and 11 points off the top on October 28. Fans of Old Ladies of Turin turned out to celebrate the news shortly after the Napoli game. However, Juventus players were in a training session when the news broke out and they enjoyed in celebrating. West Ham United will be playing a friendly against Italian club Juventus on August 7 to commemorate the opening of the new London Olympic Stadium home. The Hammers leave the Boleyn ground, their home since 1904, at the end of the season after agreeing a 99-year lease with the London Legacy Development Corporation to rent the London 2012 centrepiece for a reported £2.5 million per season. West Ham's move to the new 60,000 capacity stadium on Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park is built at a cost of around £500 million. South Africa's sports minister Fikile Mbalula has banned 4 of the country's sports federations from bidding for major international tournaments for at least a year after failing to create enough opportunities for black players. Rugby, cricket, athletics and netball are the affected federations. The country's 5 major sports federations agreed on various transformation targets with the government in 2014, but football was the only one to meet its target. The ban will not affect the 2022 Commonwealth Games, which has already been awarded to Durban, as the bid was led by a South African Olympic Committee. And still in sports, world number 5 Rafael Nadal has filed a lawsuit against former French Minister Roselyne Bachelot, who accused him of doping. Former French Minister for Health and Sports Bachelot says Nadal's 7-month absence in 2012 was probably due to a positive doping test. Nadal had already announced his intention to sue Bachelot, and Bachelot served in Nicolas Sarkozy's government from 2007 to 2010, has since left politics. And that's it on sports news. But before we go, here's a recap of our top stories. And that's a wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. Thanks so much for watching. I am Sarah Ayuku.